Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. Now I did say that we were going to be ranking all three Mortal Kombat movies with Mortal Kombat 2021, Mortal Kombat 1995, and then the sequel Annihilation, but I got through 15 minutes of Annihilation, couldn't watch it anymore. It'd be kind of a pointless video, and I didn't really just want to watch the movie in general. So today we're going to do something a little bit different, and we're going to make a versus video with Mortal Kombat 1995 and Mortal Kombat 2021. So with all that said, let's get started. Get over here! So generally the story for the first one is three unknowing martial artists are summoned to a mysterious island to compete in a tournament whose outcome will decide the fate of their world. And those three are Johnny, Sonya, and Liu Kang. And the story for the new film is MMA fighter Cole Young seeks out Earth's greatest champions in order to stand against enemies of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. Now, one thing I liked about both these stories is actually completely different. So let's start with the 1995 story. One thing I really liked about that one is that it's very simple. It's a more simplistic story. You can really follow along with it, and you don't have to be a fan of the game to understand sort of what's going on. It's better when you're a fan of the game, but if you're a newcomer, you would still understand that you're going along with these characters and everything, and it feels like a more simple story without many plot holes. One thing I liked about the new film is that there's more weight to the story. There's kind of more stuff happening involved. You know, there's way more subplots happening, but then that's also kind of a negative because there's so many plot holes. And like I said, I did like that there's a lot of stuff happening because it adds more weight, but it's such a short movie that it didn't feel very complete. They couldn't really complete the story, so that did not really help that much. So as for the two, I did really enjoy the story for the first one because I was able to follow along with it, and it was just sort of there. It wasn't like a big story, but in the new one, there's just too many plot holes and stuff like that. It does not explain the rules very well, and when it does, it goes into these big expedition dumps with like Sonya and stuff like that, and it just didn't really help out the film that much, and a lot of the subplots felt unresolved, and you know, it just didn't explain enough of what was going on like the first story did. So while none of these stories are great, I'm gonna have to give the edge to Mortal Kombat 1995, so that film is going to get 1 point for this round. Get over here! Now as for the characters in the original film, we get four main characters. We get Sonya, Johnny Cage, and Liu Kang, and Katana. Now, out of the four main characters, I liked mostly two of them, and the other two were just kind of there. But let's talk about the two that I did really like, and the two that I did really like were Liu Kang and Johnny Cage. Because Liu Kang had his own kind of subplot. He had a really good purpose for being there. He had this own arc of his, and you could really follow along with that. And the movie was sort of all about Liu Kang in some sort of way, and Johnny was very charismatic. He was very funny, which was something of a surprise to me. I did not expect to laugh as much as I did, and I laughed mostly because of Johnny Cage's character, and he was very, very good in the film. Now, Sonya was okay. She was a bit too serious for me, but she was fine for the most part. She's a bit too serious, and I just didn't buy her performance for that much. And then Katana, I felt was very boring. She just didn't have anything to her. Like, I forget everything about her, and I watched the movie actually pretty recently. So out of the four, I liked two, but one thing I love about the characters in the original is the fact that there is four main characters, so you could really follow along. I mean, Raiden is also there, and he's a pretty good character as well, but there's four main characters, so they can all kind of have their own little arcs and stuff, and you can follow along with all of those. The new film, however, shoves in every single character, you know? And I'm going to be talking about actually every single character but Sub-Zero and Scorpion, because I feel like they deserve their own little round for this versus video. So let's start with Cole Young. He's an okay character, except I just don't understand why they put him in the movie, because they could have chosen from any Mortal Kombat character and have them follow along with the rules and stuff. Like, they needed someone for the audience to kind of attach to, I guess, to relate to, follow along with the rules as he's finding it out. But they could have done that literally with any other character. But as a character, he's okay. I think that Lewis Tan is all right in the lead role here, but I just feel like they could have chosen a different character and given more screen time to the characters that we went to go see. So as for Liu Kang, if we compare those two, here's the thing. I think that the character of Liu Kang is much better in the original as a full character, but he feels more related from like game to screen in the new film, and that's kind of what I'm getting at here. A lot of the characters in the original are very well developed, they're very good, and they're easy to follow along, but the new movie, you can clearly tell which character is which character, and it feels very game to screen, so it's a much for the fans. Like, Liu Kang actually uses his fire powers. I don't even think that Liu Kang in the original does use his fire powers in that film. So there's just a bunch of stuff right there. Like, speaking of, like, say Raiden. Raiden uses his lightning powers way more in the new film than he does in the original, and he's barely in the new movie. I like him more in the original, but he feels more like Raiden in the new film, and that's kind of what I'm getting at here. A lot of the characters feel more like actual people in the original and feel more relatable, but they're just not like the game, I feel like. And the new movie, they are like the game, which is really cool. But one character that I thought was terrible in Mortal Kombat 21 and was great in the 95 one is Shang Tsung. He was just not threatening in the new movie. Even when he sucked Kung Lao's freaking soul, and Cabal's like he's about to get his soul sucked, which is just a very weird line to put in the film. But anyway, when he sucks his soul, like that doesn't add anything for me. He looks kind of like a sad puppy throughout the entirety of the film. Like, he just doesn't have any menacineness about him. And the original doesn't have a lot of menacineness about him, but he's so fun. And the actor perfectly goes with the cheesiness of the film. You know, he's at the perfect level, and I feel like he was a very fun and good villain to follow along, and I love the performance that was given to him. So, as a whole, like I said, the characters in the original are more well fleshed out, but the characters in the new film are more so like the game. Like Sonya, more like the game. Jax, more like the game. He's barely in the original film. And Liu Kang, more like the game. So if that's what you're going for, then I guess that's what you'll probably like and probably get, and you'll probably like that more than the original film. But as for me, I am a fan of the game. I was excited to see these characters and use these powers, but I wanted characters. Like Liu Kang, Kung Lao, they didn't really get much character in the new film. But in the original film, Liu Kang did. So as for this round, I'm going to have to give the edge to the original 1995 Mortal Kombat. Get over here! Now, as for Scorpion and Sub-Zero in the original film, they're just henchmen. They don't really do that much in the original film. You know, they kind of have like one action sequence, and that's pretty much it. And then they get killed off, which is really dumb, in my opinion. And I kind of hated that. It was like the worst thing about the original film, in my opinion. As for the new one, however, they open up with probably my favorite sequence in the movie, with settling the backstory between Sub-Zero and Scorpion, which I thought was a great backstory, and I thought that was a great way to start the film. It was probably the best storyline going out through the film, and both of their action sequences are the best, in my opinion, in the entire movie, and I really did care. Like, let's talk about Sub-Zero. He is great in the new film. Like, he is so menacing. He is just so much better than Shang Tsung as a villain. He is just menacing. He's there. He's gonna kill you if you get in his way. And I thought that was great. And let's talk about Sub-Zero in the original. There's nothing to him. There's nothing at all to him. He's like just there. He doesn't have anything to him or anything like that you care about, really. He doesn't have a character. And Scorpion. he's great in the new movie. He could have gotten more screen time. Even with Sub-Zero, I feel like they both could have gotten more screen time. But he has a character. He has a motivation. He has like a storyline throughout. Even though he's only in the beginning and the end of the film, he still has that character that you want. And it more so serves him justice. But in the original, again, he's just a henchman. So I honestly could have just not made this round, but I wanted to just discuss how much I hate the fact that the original decided to just botch those characters. So that takes away a lot of the grades from the original. By far, this round goes to the 2021 Mortal Kombat. So that is going to have 1 point.
Get over here!
Now, the biggest round probably in this entire list, the action. How is the action in both films? I think they're actually pretty good in both films. The original has some good choreography, has some good set design and everything, and it has some good punches, I guess, but the one thing that splits the two is the fact that the new one is rated R and the original is rated PG-13. Now, they did push the PG-13 rating a bit, you know, they made it like as much PG-13 as you could, but that doesn't mean it's rated R. You don't see in the original, like, I don't know, fucking Scorpions throw a spear through somebody or something like that, but in the new one, you see Kung Lao tear in half this dragon lady named Natara, and it's freaking awesome. Like, she just goes right into it, and it's a classic fatality, and it's great. In the old one, you don't see Jack squishing heads, but in the new one, you do. So there's that difference. It's way more brutal in the new one, and that just gives it the biggest edge out of all of them. While I do enjoy the action sequences in the original, I think they're well choreographed, they're fun, especially the Scorpion and Johnny Cage fight. I thought that was a pretty good action sequence. They don't feel like Mortal Kombat sequences, in my opinion. Like, it just doesn't feel like that. And the new one, they look so much better. I can't, like, it's a bit unfair, but in the old one, like, just talking about the effects here, they're terrible. Have you guys seen Reptile? He looks so bad. He's terrible in the original. So the new one just has a bigger edge, so this round absolutely has to go to the new film.
Get over here!
Now, probably one of the more personal things on this versus video is rewatchability. This is also sort of just kind of my pick for which one I would go rewatch. Like, this is my opinion. You could also call this Kian's opinion, but I'm calling it rewatchability. Which one would I rather go rewatch? Which one do I think people would rather go rewatch? So in the old film, it's perfectly cheesy, it's perfectly fun, it's also like, it's kind of a guilty pleasure at the same time, but it's also just like, it's that perfect amount of cheesiness that I feel like it really just works. And in the new movie, it's not as cheesy, even though it has some of those elements in there, but it's more so for the game. So if I'm in the mood to go see a Mortal Kombat film, I'm gonna have to go with the new one because it feels like more game to screen, as I said many times in this versus video, and the old one just doesn't feel like that much like it's going from the game to screen. It just doesn't feel like that as much. It feels more so like it's based off Mortal Kombat, but it doesn't feel like Mortal Kombat as much as it should. And the new one, just like all the characters and the storylines and everything, I prefer that much more. Even though it wasn't done very well, I prefer it much more than the original. So as for my opinion and my rewatchability factor, I would much rather go rewatch the new Mortal Kombat 2021. So that raises it to 3 points. So out of the two, I'm gonna have to give Mortal Kombat 2021 I'm going to have to say that Mortal Kombat 2021 is better and is the one that I think you should go watch as of the original, but I still do really enjoy the original. Guys, thank you so much for watching this versus video. Tell me if I should do more of these versus video. Do you like them? Tell me in the comment section down below, or should I just stick back to basic reviews and stuff like that? Also, comment down below, what did you guys think of both these movies? Which one do you guys think is better? How do they compare? All that fun stuff down below in the comments section. Also, hit that like and subscribe button, and have a great day. See you later.